this from Tupac, but the quote was, "I still want to see you eat, just not at my table."
Ooh.
You know, that's kind of how I feel sometimes with.
Ooh, repeat that. Repeat that.
Like I still want to see you eat, just not at my table.
Ouch, man.
Like respectfully, you know, it's all love, as respectful and as loving as I can be. That's just what it is, you know. Sometimes, like, some people can clash in collaboration, and maybe y'all are just better off working on your own, you know, or working with your separate teams or what.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of season 2 of the Thrive and Vibe. I'm your host, Zaim Zamri here. I am here in Austin, Texas, and for those of you guys listening from around the world, again, Austin, Texas is actually it's the capital city here in Texas, one of the 50 states. And from the last episode, I was fortunate enough to really interview an entrepreneur, CCO of VlogMe, Raphael Thorson, or Rafi Thorson, and talk about vibing, like how she becomes a Filipino-Canadian coming to the States. So in this episode, I was actually fortunate enough to actually come across another homie, and we linked up through a direct message on Instagram. He's not Filipino-Canadian, but he's Filipino-American, and he is an artist straight out of Austin, Texas. Of course, he released his latest album, Parallels, and really just kind of get into it. And we talked more about it and wanted to kind of talk like, hey, dude, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Randy. And it was also just talk about how he's thriving and vibing, and was really fortunate enough to get him here on a very short notice. But Randy, pleasure to meet you, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you for having me.
All right. Well, okay. So Randy, like with the Thrive and Vibe, you've heard the podcast. Like again, like I interview people like how they're thriving in their projects or their businesses or passion projects, and then Vibe is like what they do on that day-to-day, out of that day-to-day hustle. But for our listeners and viewers here, like talk about yourself, like how you really, you know, were you born, where you come from, and how did you really get to like where you're at right now, and talk about your business.
Yeah, so I grew up in here, Austin, Texas, more specifically Pflugerville, for those of you that know.
Mm-hmm.
And music's just always been a part of my life, you know. It's always been played in the household, you know. My mom would always drive to like all the queens, you know, like Mariah Carey, Beyonce, Celine Dion, you know, Whitney Houston, all that stuff. And my dad was more the influence of like Michael Jackson, Bee Gees, the Beatles, things like that. So eventually I just gravitated more towards hip hop and R&B. And I love the genre so much just growing up. You know, I grew up in the era of like G-Unit and Eminem and all that stuff.
G-Unit.
Exactly. And like, you know, watching 8 Mile, just thinking like, oh, you know, anyone could try out this craft. And I think at some point, like, I was just gonna try it. So, shouts to Joanna.
Shout out to Joanna. She's not here, but yeah, she's one of the hosts of this place where we're doing here. So yeah, like being able to gravitate towards that. But what's really was that one artist that you think like made that shift? So you talked about like how it has really ingrained into your head, and then, but what was, you have that one artist that said, you know what, I'm going to really make this a real thing. I'm not just listening to this for joy, but I'm really going to try to make it, create something out of myself, and then get to where you are at right now.
I would say it'll have to be more than one artist, right?
One artist.
Along the way.
Top 3, top 5.
Yeah, top 3, top 5. Like along the way, like the names I mentioned, right? Eminem, 50 Cent. I would say Drake. You know, everybody got to give him his credit, making it out of Canada.
Yeah,
I would say.
wait, you listen to Drake when he was on the come up, or you listen to after Take Care? Which album do you think you start
Oh,
really listening in?
now I would say the whole journey, you know, starting
Best
from
I ever had.
yeah, best I ever had.
Okay,
you
you're
know,
OG. You're OG.
that was like high school for me. That like just 2009, 2010 era. I would say Lil Wayne was a huge influence on me for sure. He that artist definitely got me into just attempting to write. You know, not even taking it seriously yet, but I just loved his wittiness and his lyricism. So I think the bug really started to itch me like then. You know, I actually started to look at this as a craft that was just available to everybody to try. You know, and around high school, actually after I graduated high school, 2012. Not to date myself, but one of my friends, Kevin. He hit me up on Facebook wall posts.
Facebook wall post.
Facebook wall post.
Dude, I haven't heard Facebook wall post in a while.
I know, right? Like, it just reminds me of MySpace or something. But yeah, he hit me up on Facebook wall post, and all it said was, "I got a mic." ... You know, it just went on forever. And the rest is history.
Wait, was message even made, or is it just a wall? It just literally wall post like, hey.
It was just a wall post. Yeah, could have been Messenger. I think could have been a text. You know, but for some reason the vibe my friend Kevin at the time was feeling it was just a wall post, and you know that started everything. I would say to actually you know link up with the homie and that has the equipment and the know-how, and just kind of using that collaborative effort to try our hand at this craft, you know, see how far we can take it. And I think at first, you know, you are trying to take it seriously, but there's all that intro work first, like, oh, I gotta learn how to write like meaningful lyrics. You know, I gotta learn
how to deliver,
how
the
to
tone,
deliver,
the pace.
So it was a learning experience on both ends, you know, like just the start, the literal beginning, you know, just how do we rap different cadences, you know, how do we change up the flow, and since then, you know, that would be like 2013 for me. I started to listen to music more of like an analytical, like even more of an analytical standpoint, like breaking down lyrics and studying different cadences from different artists, like and just seeing, you know, their backstory too, like the context, like why did they start making music, or why is this song meaningful, you know, and all the influences just.
For me as a listener, I like to go to Rap Genius. If I really don't understand it, I know some people, if they have that anticipation, like knowing that the album or the song's gonna be overhyped, and then you think like, this artist is taking beef on this. This artist is really making a political statement, either in a very deep meaning or very upfront, and it's such an art. But would you say there's any science behind like creating lyrics, or it's mainly just art?
I would say it's the blend of, you know, what the artist wants to convey / their intelligence as well. You know,
the intelligence.
It is kind of a display on that, you know. I mean, rap is mainly what I do, but like rap melody, it's all an expression, isn't it? Right. But yeah, it can't get deep. I mean, at the end of the day, it's poetry. That's how poetry. I look at it. You know, it's poetry, self-expression, and it's also subjective too. But you know, we don't have to get that deep. But,
Absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, it is a science, I would say, for sure.
You could see some of the science, like, okay, so there's you as the artist, and then of course, if you have when you're writing the lyrics down, you really talk about your life experiences, or you talk about maybe someone else's life experiences, or you try to make your own kind of fictional story that is something that sounds pretty good. And then when the beats come, you probably have a team or some music producers that are just making the beats and just sampling whatever. It's like, which one do you think is the longest process? Writing the lyrics or producing the beats? Or it really depends just how you flow about in your life, your day-to-day life with that?
I think you're right. It does depend on very specific things, and I can only speak from my experience. Right? But,
Yeah, absolutely.
a lot of this is solo dolo. Like, I'm still searching for tight beats on YouTube. I don't have a producer as my right hand or anything. I have access to it, but just making the time out to really sit with a producer, I think is something I do want to do in the future. But I think just working on time constraints and whatnot, balancing life as it is, just being able to have my MacBook and just going through hundreds and hundreds of beats and just setting aside which ones have potential, and even from then I'm still filtering out, like, okay, which ones are actually, do I think, worth the time to start writing to. And it's really a connection that I feel with the music first. I think that's first and foremost. I have to feel connected to it. I have to feel just some kind of emotion, like, oh, this one makes me feel strong, or this one makes me feel
sad,
kind of down,
yeah.
This one is a bit more mellow, so once I identify the kind of emotion it's bringing, then I think, okay, I can work with this. And then it starts with freestyling to it, and not even necessarily words at times. It's just trying to find the cadence, like, how can I bring my taste to this specific beat. And once I'm freestyling with words now, I'm knowing the cadence, I'm knowing my approach, and even from then on, it should be a straightforward process. But sometimes the actual lyric writing is, it could take months on end. Sometimes I have to leave a song that's just halfway written, just cause
halfway written. Damn.
Sometimes the inspiration runs out, and you got to switch it up and maybe try your hand at a different song, because you're getting burnt out, and come back to it tomorrow or a week later with hopefully some new perspective, new music influence, and try again.
Yeah. So like with you think like all artists, whenever are they always kind of working? And I mean always working, not just working like standing behind the laptop, but it would be working like, even you're working right now, like probably something will be inspired for you to put a little parts of the song or little parts of the beat, or you go vacation in the Bahamas and you be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna wrap up, I have an idea, I journal it down, and I'm gonna rap about me having a good ass time, or just anything, like almost, would you say that is some type of, like, you're always working in that sense, and a lot of artists that are just like you, they're always working?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. As an artist or a creative, you kind of always have to be on, right? Like, even for what you do, I know what certain areas you're in. Oh, this would be a good area for a podcast right here, this episode here at this specific restaurant or something, if they'll allow it. But yeah, sometimes it is like that, and after making consistent music for a while, sometimes I do have to take a break just to live some life, just to have new experiences to jot down and write about at a later time, after I've analyzed and learned from certain experiences or certain observations I've made about my life. So to also answer your earlier question, like, at this point in my music, I don't really write from really any other perspective other than my own, or just my own life experiences. Like, I think Drake is, that's a name drop.
It's mainstream.
Just a good example of that.
Yeah, it's a good example to relate to.
Just talking about your own experiences. I can't really write fiction or anything that, like, I haven't experienced, just because I don't want to portray something that I'm not. So that's where I come from in my music.
So it's really interesting, like, talk about your personal life and personal experiences, and putting that into your music, and hopefully make it happen. And then your fans or new listeners, they listen to it, it's like, okay, this beat is good. I was like, oh shit, that I relate to this so much. All right, I'm gonna follow him and see how he grows. And I think that's a lot of things, like, what I realized growing up too, is that like rappers or artists, they will never have they always try to have great songs, like, but is it going to be a mega hit? No, not really. That's just life. Like, they're going to have your not so good song, not so good album, to like they're very like, oh my god, this really is so fire. And this also happens to me, and I'm going to say this Drake reference, that some of the songs that he produced back in 2015 really relates to what I'm actually kind of going through mentally through all my friendships and relationships and building success. And that's why sometimes I would like say Drake is somewhat a great artist, because he was thinking so far ahead.
Right.
He was thinking so far, and I listened to some of your music, and some of them really hit me hard. Not just because it's a great beat, but it's I could tell the emotions, I could feel the energy, I could the lyrics, I really want to kind of take it out and apply it for myself.
Right. No, that means a lot. You know, that's probably the best compliment that an artist can receive. So
it's not like more than just money. Money is just a good part of it.
Yeah, that's that's a bonus, right?
It's a bonus.
And I think what you mentioned earlier too, you said, you know, like a Drake song from 2015, right?
Yeah, Take Care. And then it applies to me even more now than it was when I was younger. Maybe it's just immature me didn't really understand. It's just, oh, this is a cool beat. And then, everyone's following it. But when you really sit down and listen, you're truly alone. And maybe, like, I'll say for myself, like I'm driving down the highway, or I'm really working out by myself, and then it really hits me. Like, truly hits me more than just I'm on a bandwagon.
Right. It's more than just background music. You know, I think that's similar to what my approach is in music, to just try and make timeless music, or timeless to me, right? Something that, you know, I won't cringe at in 5, 10, 20 years, you know.
Or even if your future kid be like, Dad, what type of music we making?
Yeah,
what do you want?
Exactly. And, you know, that's going to be inevitable, right? Just because music is always changing. But, you know, I'll tell that my future kid, whatever, hey, look, this was hot back in the day. You don't even know. And then it's just going to remind me,
this AI bullshit.
You know? Yeah, AI is taking over.
That's actually going to be the next topic. But yeah, I'm sure. Also, kind of deep dive more. I know that you said that you were from Pflugerville,
right?
But again, being the Asian American it's rising, but we didn't have it like that. Especially in the rap hip hop scene, it's very, very little. Maybe like 1 out of like, even I can say that as an Asian American myself, 1 out of every 10,000 people here in America is like, okay, Asian American, but it's not like as the highest peak. Being in America, there usually are more talents of Asian rappers and hip hop artists overseas. Like I'm gonna say one, Jay Park. Okay, he's up there, but he's now more in the Korean, in South Korea. But he did had a shot in being an Asian American rapper and hip hop artist. And then there's from K-Town,
Dumbfounded?
No, Dumbfounded. There you go. It's nice. Funny thing is, I actually did mention Dumbfounded. That's why I was like, yeah, Dumbfounded. So, and those are the only 2 rappers and hip hop artists that has really tried to make a name for themselves. I would say they would be pioneers, and you're just maybe going in, and then hopefully you're gonna be a trailblazer. But as a Filipino-American brother, that is actually really hella dope.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, represent, right? And you know, I got to give credit to who I would look as, you know, some pioneers. I think there's this era that a lot of us refer to as Asian YouTuber. You know, like
we got the Kev Jumba.
Shout out Kev Jumba.
Yeah, shout out.
I actually did a show with him, but
really,
that would be a later story.
Oh no!
But some other influences. I mean, bro, D Pride, man.
D Pride, dude.
You ever listen to D Pride back then? He's a.
Oh, dude, I remember. Yeah, he was a YouTuber. I don't know what happened to him.
He's still making music. Honestly, he's doing a bit more like melodic, you know, R&B sounding music. It's pretty good. Honestly, he's still doing it out there in Toronto, I believe, or Cali. But yeah, he was one of the influences. I think just being himself and trying his hand at music. You know, it made me and my friends believe, hey, yo, we can try our hand at this too. You know, this isn't just for, you know, in certain communities, like this is for everyone to try. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, this is art at the end of the day. And yeah, like you said, Kev Jumba, I mean, Timothy De La Ghetto, you know, he made music as well.
So actually, I do. I could somewhat see like Timothy Delgado. He really did make a good scene in the hip hop.
Yeah, he was on Wild and Out.
And then got into Wild and Out, and after that, it was just solid. Like he was consistent. I really liked Timothy De La Ghetto.
There was this, I don't know if you recall, there was like this Bedrock remix with D Pride, like Lil Craze, Timothy De La Ghetto, you know, just seeing stuff like that, you know, just.
But they were singing, they were singing covers, which is pretty okay. But I want to hear someone that like have a banger,
right?
But it's original. I know cover is great to have, and cover is great to have too, because that's what something that you can really feel. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, you could rap a Drake song, a sample yourself,
yeah,
but
definitely.
You had to give it up to the original. But if I were to hear something that is like, oh, okay, crap, this is Randy's music. This is actually pretty dope. I know it's earlier on, you're representing yourself for now, but hey, it's still a step.
Right, that's a good point. I mean, yeah, covers are cool, you know, showing you know, your musical talent that way if you're starting off. But to kind of relate it to hip hop too, is starting. You do a lot of remixes. You know, you just want to, you know, try your hand at a certain instrumental of a song that you like, and trying to emulate your favorite artists. And you know, later on, you kind of figure out, okay, you know, I think it's better if I tried to just make more original music. You know, those lyrics, I could have saved it on, you know, an original track of mine that I can promote and upload to, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, all those
SoundCloud
streaming services. Yeah, better promoting, you know, your original music rather than a remix or a cover. And not to knock on those things, you know, like remixes always go viral if they're good. For sure, covers can always go viral.
Yeah, a lot of, especially if you upload TikTok, a lot of remixes are actually going super viral. Like they're using it as Instagram Reel or TikTok like stories, like to kind of like make that cool transition to get you hooked. But for a guy like me that really wants to sit down and really truly sit down, 3 minutes, at least attention span, full 3 minutes, like kind of like meditating and truly listening to it.
Right.
I want to we gotta have that type of music, and of course and I love your music that it's not just, you really enunciate your words. That's a lot of thing that it's a pet peeve, that when a lot of the words is like, I mean, a lot of the songs nowadays, especially in the rap song, they are mumbling, but hey, the beat's fire.
Sure.
But you really like enunciate your words, and it's very easy to kind of know, and I know it's very catchy too.
Yeah, appreciate it. That's, you know, one of the things as an artist that you absolutely have to work on, right? Your delivery. And you know, you find that out by like attempting to record a song and recording yourself, right? And just seeing how you sound on the mic, and kind of knowing how to also receive constructive criticism too, because you know, hopefully you have friends in your circle that'll tell you, oh, hey, you know what, this might not be it. I'm not saying it's the worst, but you know, maybe try again, like try something, you know, tweak it just a little bit. And I think vocal performance, just vocal delivery is always something that, you know, as artists we're trying to work on. And you know, we hear that through honestly self-criticism too. You know, I'm sure we all have a good ear, right? And we'll know if we don't sound the best.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I've had my fair share of you know, maybe not delivering something the way I wanted to, but you know, you need those kind of experiences to be able to find your own voice, to find your own sound.
Yeah, nah, absolutely. And then of course, like with the constructive criticism, you get like they get mainly from first, you get it from your support, like, you know, your immediate support, like maybe your family members, your your homeboy, yes, even, and then the rest would be like fans. The rest would be like fans that just like, yeah, they follow you, and then like your real fans, your day one fans, and I think I could be considered a day one fan too
Sure.
as well.
Most definitely. Yeah, I would like to think, my inner circle of friends would be, I would call them like my counsel or
Counsel,
something like that.
that.
I trust their ear. I know we all have, good taste in music. So usually when I'm starting to work on new music and I have, something to actually show, then yeah, I'm more than willing to hear their opinion, and not just from my inner circle, but I mean, as long as you have some kind of credibility, then I will receive your constructive criticism, and I'll implement it. I'll try it. Like maybe I'm not doing something, or maybe there's something new I could try, right? And so I'll take the constructive criticism and apply it and see if it works, or see if I even like it.
Yeah, absolutely. So after I'd like to kind of move on to the good part. So you already gotten to the part that you have released an album, and I'm pretty sure that's one of the best feelings ever. Like it's no one when they start to make music, they can say like I released an actual album, and then let alone you have done your own mini tours. Like that's already a really huge accomplishment. You just evolved from hey, I'm a wannabe artist on the SoundCloud. No, you're like really taking actual steps, and you're at the same time you're actually being original. And I love that. I want to kind of hear more of the journey, but how was that journey like to really make the album? You're like tell us like the good, bad, and ugly. Trying to make that happen.
I mean, yeah, making the album, it takes so much, I would say, dedication, sacrificing a lot of time. And I mean, the feeling of accomplishing it, is all worth it. It's all worth the time. But I think what really helped me even do that was establishing a strict routine. I think that was first and foremost. And I do have a day job. I work in IT. I work remotely, thankfully.
That's good. That's good.
So that makes things a whole lot easier. But I would work from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Right, clock out, eat a meal real quick, and just make music until maybe about 7:30 or 8 p.m. Yeah, so it's not a lot of time like throughout the weekdays that I can work on music. Just a dedicated, couple of hours at a time. But it helped me master the craft of being consistent at it. A lot of artists, they don't, not to knock on anyone, but a lot of artists don't create until they feel inspired. I think I just strongly believe if you're consistent at it, you'll be able to have easier access to that creative spark that, some people may just be like waiting around because it's not always going to come.
No, like you say that because I used to really, I think, I don't know what artist has said it, but they sometimes kind of say like when they really feel it and then they really actually deliver. But I think what you're saying is like, hey, just win the battle, even if it's 1% or less than, at least 0.1%. It's not 0%. You're not doing absolutely nothing. You're not thinking of like getting high on the set, getting drunk, and then you feel like, oh, let's do it. You're really kind of like pushing yourself, but you're try your best not to really burn yourself out. And I like it that you're so disciplined that you get it done, whatever it takes. And then so would you say your full work day on your music will be like on the weekends or just whenever you can make it time? So let's just say you want to, it's a holiday. Of course, it's Memorial Day weekend. Maybe you could spend 3 or 4 hours on your music and thinking and crafting and brainstorming.
Yeah, definitely on the day off, it would be a lot of time dedicated to music for sure. But to add to what you're saying about the burnout, I'm not saying it's like, wake up and music until I go to sleep, right? I think it's the beauty of finding that balance between your actual life and, working on the craft. I gotta have some exposure with the homies, I gotta like be physically active. I try and get in the gym at least.
You're still in pretty good shape before as an artist, man. Like starting out, like not many artists can definitely stay in shape, and I feel bad sometimes as a fan. Like I be like poking fun at like, oh, this artist not in good shape. Then really checking out what they actually do. It's like, dude, how do you actually find time to really go to the gym, and you can't just go to the gym just casually. You have to kind of go in and go out, and yeah, it's a very tough, it's a very difficult lifestyle. Let alone try to have a personal life, and you go fine dining, whatever.
Right. No, most definitely. Like, and I am naturally routine based already, but I think what kind of like really set it off was I saw this documentary on YouTube, like a fan made documentary about
Fan made, okay.
the making of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, right?
Why does that sound like something for Travis Scott or Kanye
Well,
West?
his is, they work together, so I mean,
Okay.
I think that the title you're thinking of is like Trap Sing by McKnight.
Yeah, that's how I
like
was thinking about that.
Yeah, just sounds like a play, right? You know that album by Kanye though, the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, the one with like all of the lights and all of that. So it's a documentary, right? And the artist, the RZA, was talking about their routine when they were creating this album in Hawaii. They would
Wait, RZA, like from RZA making Wu-Tang, or just
Wu-Tang,
RZA himself? Yeah.
Yeah, just RZA himself.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he was part of the crew that was working on this album. And so the team would wake up, right, have breakfast together, talk about what they did yesterday, what they're going to do today, and what they're going to do tomorrow.
Dude, that literally sounds like, for our listeners here, that literally sounds like an agile team in IT. Like, we really, like the Scrum Master
Exactly.
is going to come in and say, what did you accomplish yesterday? What went wrong?
Right.
What are you going to be doing today about it? And then what are you going to do today? And then what are you going to do about it? And then repeat that same routine over and over, even if it gets very boring and annoying. But you have a mission.
Right, it's a mission. And it's important to have structure, right? So, after they have their little breakfast / huddle, they'd all work out as a unit. Get the energy up, get the chi up, and then go do some charity work, do like a good deed for the day, and then go to the studio.
Wow,
from
like
that's 3 or 4 p.m. until you knock out. Honestly.
I like it when you add that they do charity work. That's because I think we as human, when we can definitely get so ingrained, and it's natural to not feel happy, like when you're doing so much work. But then when you say like, what did I do something good? Okay, maybe I did not finish this beat, or this beat is there's just so many problems. But if you just think about like, oh, I actually gave a sandwich to a homeless man, or made a sandwich and gave it to a homeless man, or I donated, I feel good about myself. And that's an easy thing to do first thing, and the fact they did it first thing in the morning, that's really good. It's I think I want to do that too. Now you got me inspired to like to give back.
So yeah, that routine, that energy, I kind of just made it my own and incorporated into my own lifestyle. And because of that, I started to see the album kind of form itself. At the start of it, I didn't have, I had goals, like, oh, I want to finish such and such song, but in general, I just wanted to have a catalog of music and just make music, and then figure out what to do with it, like, later down the road. And I realized, the album was kind of forming itself. I was finding myself writing about the past, year or two of my life, just what is that life after college? That's kind of what the content that I was talking about in my music, just because it was so relevant in my life. Relationships, heartbreak, love, loss, acceptance. A lot of these themes are what's in my album called Parallels. And behind that title, it's, I don't know, I just had this image in my head of like looking in the mirror, but looking at your younger self, or your past self,
Your past self.
And just kind of acknowledging all that growth in between. Like I found myself going through similar situations that I have in my past, and it's more like, okay, what am I gonna do now with the knowledge I have from my past to approach this? Like I'm approaching it differently, just because obviously you learn and you grow, right?
Right.
So just consistency.
No, that's
really.
Consistency, routine, and talk about parallel. How'd you come up with that title? Do you sometimes, is it mainly like it came to you, or you again, or it goes back to your catalog and you might maybe you journal, you read a lot to really think of that title parallel? Because that's again, even I could say the same thing on my end. Like I do this podcast episode, and then I think like, okay, I don't know what the title is.
Right.
I feel like I'm putting in now the icing on the cake. It's like, what's the title? Maybe you're going through that same thing for you were going through that same thing with your albums. Like, all right, I put all of this, all these songs, everything. I don't know what to put in an album, but that's just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's tough, coming up with an album title. That's a lot of pressure, because it's the theme. It's like, what is that? Like, what is the theme of this album? What is this? What do you want people to say on the street when they say, "Oh, have you heard the Randy James album blank?" Like, what do you want? What just sounds pleasing to the ear? And
it has to be 2 syllables to 1 syllable. 2 syllables to 3 syllables. Like,
I don't
again,
want
the Drake example.
Long title, like.
Yeah. Well, as long, if you're already big up there like Drake, you can put as weirdest titles you want.
Right,
but on the come up, I still think this is the greatest album. Take Care. The theme is to literally take care, like to take care of yourself, take care of your well-being, and all the song really talks about, like, it just emotes more emotions. You don't have to see it, but you just feel it. But again, back about like parallels.
Kind of like how the album was forming itself. The title kind of revealed itself too. Like, just through conversations with certain friends of mine, the term parallels just kept coming up, just because we were going through experiences that we have been in our past, and we were kind of comparing them side by side. Like, oh, hey, back then, we were in college and we were doing such and such, and now, like, look at what we're doing now. Like, like we're in the dreams that we were manifesting. Like, that's crazy.
It is.
And so we would just say, oh, parallels, and then, oh, that kind of sounds nice,
Yeah. When you first told me about the word parallel, I don't know why my brain went into like geometry.
Oh, geometry. Huh?
like in math class.
Yeah, parallels. Yeah, just
like parallel lines. That's why I was literally
lines.
thinking. But then now that you already kind of talked about it, and then I've been listening to the album a lot more. It's really good. My favorite song is still, and I told you this before, like, do you want to know where I go? I love that.
Yeah.
I think I liked it just because, like, how you really started out, and then your voice, and then, I don't know, the flow of it was like something it's my highway music, to be honest.
Wow. It means a lot, man. It's love.
It relates to me as a podcaster.
That might be my favorite song of mine, honestly, too. It's just, that's one of those examples when, I hear a beat and I just immediately connect to it for some reason. I can't explain it. It's just that thing that artists have with their craft, and it kind of wrote itself, it just felt the music. It felt a vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And just correlated with it. The song itself is kind of like an introduction to me. It's like, figuratively speaking, it's like meeting someone and, oh, hey, look, this is who I am. This is what I'm about. This is what I do. Accept me for who I am, or don't.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you've come across in your life with people who want to accept you, or they try to force you to accept it, and then vice versa. And kind of their personal life, I'm pretty sure you've had to, or when you were really on the come up, you had to cut off a lot of like friends, and they're not like evil friends. They're good people.
Yeah, definitely.
But you just felt like we're not on that same path. We're different. Don't take it as a disrespect. And maybe it may have broke your heart really bad. It's like, damn, I really did not want to let this go. I really did not want this to go sour.
Yeah, sometimes it's pride, right? I heard this quote. I heard that it's from Tupac. I don't know if that's true or not, but it's like,
anything that Tupac say would be believable. I ain't gonna lie.
I'd like to think that it's from Tupac, but the quote was, "I still want to see you eat, just not at my table."
Ooh.
That's kind of how I feel
Ooh.
sometimes with.
Ooh, repeat that.
Like I still want to see you eat, just not at my table.
Ouch, man.
Like respectfully, it's
Man.
all love. As respectful and as loving as I can be, that's just what it is. Sometimes like some people can clash in collaboration, and maybe y'all are just better off working on your own, or working with your separate teams or what have you. And so yeah, in this craft, or just in life, right, you're gonna go through numerous relationships that you encounter, that you really start to filter out. Okay, who's worth my time? I think that's
And
what
then
it comes down to.
and I also come across another friend of mine. His name is Boggy, and he said like, "Hey man, I don't think you have a lot of you could think you have a lot of friends, but I think you have more fans." And I know you have fans too, but I start to realize, okay, some of my friends are not just becoming my fan of my podcast, and that's okay.
Right.
And I like to kind of say that with I want to see you eat, but just not at my table. It's like that you ever seen the movie Mean Girls? It's like, you can't sit with us.
Right.
But in a less mean way,
There's
it's like,
there's no
respectfully,
burn book here.
like, respectfully, you can't sit with us.
Yeah.
It's just not worth our time. Like, hey, we don't mean any harm. We're not here to bully you, but hey, you're just not, like, what value you bring to the table? Again, keyword table here.
Right. Most def. It's like, it's all love at the end of the day. I have no hate in my heart, but like for some people, we may not work well together, and that's fine. Like, you can work over there, I can work over here. It's cool. That's just how it is. Sometimes you gotta learn to let go of some relationships that may be holding you back. That's probably one of the hardest things that you have to go through as an artist, because whether there's history behind it, or
beef,
right, or like certain experiences that y'all have just been through together. There could be a lot of things that holds a relationship together, but along the way you start to really learn which relationships are worth keeping.
Yeah, it's you've seen this too. Like, it seems like sometimes the most interesting songs that are most hyped and most listened to are the one that the artists have beef with another artist.
Right.
Again, I'm going to pull up a Drake reference. Drake has a lot of beef. Oh no, actually, I'll pull this one up. Eminem. Go up against Eminem. He will make, he will make a beef out of you, and it will be like one of the top selling songs. Like, remember when Machine Gun Kelly went against Eminem? Hey, it was fire.
Yeah,
it was fire. I ain't gonna lie, it was fire.
No, for sure.
And I was like, oh, I could feel the energy. The beat was good. The music video was really representing. But when Eminem had to be like, okay, all right, this little kid here, this guy's using me as a clickbait. Okay, ended that man's career.
Yeah, fans love
You
controversy.
just need to know who you are up against.
Right.
Who you're up against, because again, like, that's just like, can you imagine if you go up against any rapper? It's probably gonna end your career.
Yeah, right. No
But
way.
let's not do that. But again, I give respect to MGK for really trying to go up against one of the GOATs. But hey man, it really kind of went and steered off to a complete different way.
Right. We all make mistakes, right? Nah, JK, but I mean, yeah, fans love controversy. I think. I mean, like Drake and Meek Mill. There's been a lot of historic hip hop beefs, and I think with that Drake and Meek Mill one, I was fortunate enough to go to and see Drake live headline at ACO back in, I think, 2015.
Oh really?
And I think that
Whoa,
that was
after
the
take
era.
That was like that wasn't like that
was
was time to
like-
take care, right?
That was like, what a time to be alive.
Oh yeah, what time to be alive?
And like, if you're reading this, it's too late. Like,
Yeah.
That was an epic show. But yeah, I remember for his song, what is it? Back to Back.
Yeah, that was an absolute intense
all the
beat.
Meek Mill memes. I mean, hey, shout out to Meek Mill and Drake. I like both of them artists, man. So it's all love at the end of the day.
Yeah, all love. Yeah, so we talked about the thriving and doing lots of great things. I think one more question about thriving. You've done your tours. How's that like, man? How is that really like? You've done your first tour, and I'll link the YouTube video here for you guys to kind of really subscribe and check out his journey. But again, the idea when you already got the album, and then you have your crew, your ride or die crew to be in your table, and then you're doing your tour. That's really that's actually really insane. You're not just doing gigs, no, you're doing tours, brother.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, appreciate that. It's I'm trying not to feel jaded about it because again, we're living the dreams that we once had. You know, that's what I always say to myself and my homies. But I mean, the performing aspect of it, that's been a whole journey within itself, brother. Let me tell you, like, I mean, we started from having more people on stage than in the audience, right?
Like, I think a humbling experience there.
Yeah, super humbling. I mean, I started out like with my friend Kevin doing hip hop open mics in Austin. You know, that's where you really find your voice because you want to have something to bring to the table, as in like a stage, right? And you want people to like it, of course. That's why you're going there, right? To test out your stage fright.
Is it like a poetry, kind of like a poetry slam, or even for comedies that like do comedy improv? Like, you don't know if you're really funny. All right, go up the stage. You got some people there that probably went there for free, but you really, if you think you're hot shit, all right, go prove it. In that small stage, like start like humble yourself, do that. And so
I think that's what it. I think most of those types of crafts get held at this place called Spider House.
Spider House.
Have you ever
I passed by Spider House, but no, I haven't really been in it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they still do this, but back in the day, they had hip hop open mics on Tuesdays at like 10 or 11 p.m.
Is it mainly for college, like for like UT Austin students kind of thing?
It was just for local hip hop. Anyone in Austin that made music that wanted to perform one song, you have to go to the sign up early, and then it was kind of cool. Like at first I'll tell you at first, we were super intimidated. Let me just say that. Like just two Asian kids, fresh out of high school, not really knowing how to dress, just like what are we doing here, bro?
Like you guys don't even fit in.
It's a Tuesday night. Like what are we doing here? And so we have to go through that experience though to start being around your peers and really seeing, okay, what's happening locally in this craft that we love doing. And so although intimidated, really being in the local hip hop scene just to view it and seeing, okay, what's going on in my hometown, how can we make it out of here, and getting rid of stage fright or working on it, right, performing songs that we wrote in our bedroom, right. So it starts from there. Let me just say that, like, it starts from just perform in front of your friends, right, if you're just starting out, just to really test yourself performing in front of people, because I mean public speaking and all that, it's really not my thing, right. It's so nerve-wracking, but for some reason, just connecting with the performance aspect of like performing your music and whatnot. And I mean, it's also countless hours of like watching other live shows, right? Like watching a bunch of YouTube live sets and stuff like that. Just really studying. I would always study like, how do artists transition from song to song?
It's not either. I like going to a lot of concerts, and I say the latest concert that I've actually went to, phenomenal performance from Weeknd, aka Abel. I should say Abel, aka Weeknd. The Weeknd. He sang 20 songs straight.
That's insane.
And he's like trying to keep his composure in a full sold out Dallas Stadium. Let alone he hasn't performed in 2 years. Like he wanted to perform during COVID, they got canceled. Dang, and then he kind of went through depression because, his ex Selena Gomez kind of screwed him over and everything, and just a lot of things, and the only time, like, I give credit to the Weeknd, and he's great at what he does, and even till this day, I think you really made it to one of the tops if one, your fans are singing your songs before you perform. I'm pretty sure that would be an amazing feeling. And we already I think you already kind of dealt with that.
A little bit.
Like, a little bit, like some of your friends that follow you, I was like, oh, he's going to sing Do You Want to Know?
Right.
To, there are people remixing your songs. And then the three, influencers are actually using it. Actually using it, like, real influencers on social media are really using it, and you're like, you could cry, like, being so happy. It's like, I don't care about the money. It's just the influence is so wild.
It's surreal, man. I mean, just to continue speaking on the quote unquote tours, right? Like, it comes from those humble experiences first and foremost. I think getting yourself out there, kind of getting in touch with the community that you're already around, and then I think networking is just a huge key as well.
Yeah.
In the Parallels Tour vlog series, I'll spoil the theme a bit. I mean, it is a Parallels theme. Like most episodes, like it shows why this show is significant. Oh, it's because I met this guy back in college. He came to my listening party. He didn't even have a show in mind yet, but boom, he threw one and invited me on to it. It's just, and I say networking. That's that heavy like business way of saying it, right?
Business.
I really think of it just as making friends and just making genuine relationships.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, like, I have to like you if I'm gonna collaborate with you on doing something creative.
Yeah, like, and then. And I think you're at this point, like, where to differentiate mentally as an art. Does this person, guy or girl, just really genuinely want to work with me and in the future, or is this like, oh, it's just a fan, or is it just like whatnot? I know I came to you because I genuinely saw something in you. And again, really honored to kind of have you in this episode. But again, with other people, you just already know, like, oh, yeah, friend. Oh, cool friend. Oh, it's a fan. This is potentially, but I'm kind of feeling iffy, but I'm gonna run it with Steven to see, like, if this is a potential good deal.
No, definitely. I think, along this journey, you have a good idea of, first impressions are everything.
Mm-hmm.
But like your way of reading people kind of sharpens when you know which people to look out for, I guess.
They're green flags, or you have your red flags.
Right, exactly. So I like to think I have a good idea or a good way of reading people, and I met you, I saw your your genuineness, if that's the word. But no, I just felt an immediate connection.
Mm-hmm.
I just see you for who you are.
Yeah.
I just saw you were genuine, and that you're into this craft. I mean, I like podcasts.
Yeah.
I think what you're doing is pretty cool. I mean, maybe if you record this setup after this podcast, like, see our point of view is pretty crazy, but
it is.
No, this is tight. I mean,
and it's still the beginning. I'm still kind of like almost similar level, like where you at. Like, oh, we're just in the starting phase, and like we're not true beginners anymore. Like we're kind of like amateurs. Like, you had your album, I already had my website and my podcast, already 12 episodes in. How many songs have you produced right now? Like 12, 13? Or more than that?
Man, it's tough,
I'm like produced, like, officially, like it's streaming on Spotify right now. Yeah,
released songs, let's just say, say 30 to 35, maybe 40.
I was
have
way
to recount
off.
That. I'm adding SoundCloud too, some tracks on SoundCloud.
Okay.
It may not be on Spotify, but it's all love at the end of the day, and we're still making music, like still building the catalog. Like, this is just. This is my debut album, but it's also my second project technically, because I had a mixtape back then. It's called The Vision. I think that was a good blueprint for me to really see, like, the amount of work that's required for making an album. And what I learned from that was, one of my homies back in the day, shout out Jordanos.
Okay.
He told me, hey, don't rush it. Because I was telling him more, hey, like, I'm gonna release this mixtape in such and such month. I wasn't even halfway done with it yet. Like, why am I telling people way too early when I don't even have anything to really show for it. And he just hit me with, hey, look, don't rush it. You know, it's art, and it shouldn't be rushed. And so I think that's the approach I took on Parallels, and that's why,
Yeah.
you know, I connected with a lot of people. Just felt the soul, you know, felt the expression.
Do you feel like as an artist that you already have you definitely have a better taste in music than me, but
It's all subjective, man.
It is objective, but you have the credibility better than me. Do you, when other artists release new songs and albums, you be like, all right, I think this was rushed, or again, people who would leak an album is like, oh, why would you leak an album?
Right.
And it's like it kind of defeats that value of first impression value, because I don't know. There's times me as a listener, that I like it. I like to hear it as fast as possible. When I hear like, oh my God, Drake is producing a new song. I'm gonna say their Search and Rescue song. That's my new top favorite song.
Search and Rescue.
Yeah, the beat's fire. The lyrics pretty good. And I feel like I'm on that path right now. Like I don't want a girl that is like that. It doesn't make much more money than me, but it's just come and rescue me. But if that song released too fast, like I don't think I would have enjoyed it much. But if it released too long, and like, bro, your competitor is like there. So timing though, like I know you said producing music, you shouldn't rush it. Do you think there's a little sense of like urgency sometimes? It's a balance between like you don't want to push the deadline too long, but you don't want to rush it, and
so I think it depends on what your music goals are.
Music
I think
goals
first and foremost, and like why you're in this craft. You know, why you're taking part in this as like an obsessed hobby. You know, and I think for me, at the end of the day, I just make the music I want to listen to, right? I want to test my pen and my delivery. I want to make music for my friends to enjoy, right? But, you know, as far as the music goals go, my bad, you have to repeat your question. I just totally lost that train.
No, it's like, how do you balance between the urgency to like, hey, don't rush your music? How do you,
right?
So there has to be a pretty good balance, and you were on a good roll. Like, what's your music goal? Why you're so obsessed with this?
Yeah, so you know, there are those artists that, you know, they release music frequently, and that's not a bad thing. You know, fans, like, they always want more music, but I think I would translate that to, you know, artists trying to like stay relevant, right? But you look at an artist like Kendrick, who doesn't sacrifice the time for the
yeah,
quality.
that's actually a really good example. Like,
you know?
he released Damn, then ghosted.
Yeah, that's kind of.
And then comes back again, and they're like, oh, he's still performing. Same thing with J. Cole.
J. Cole,
Platinum. And then they ghosted. You see him more off the music scene, like, you know, getting interviews, wisdom talks, and I'm pretty sure he's keeping himself busy. He's not just sitting around just scrolling, but he's probably he's at that mature age, or like maybe he's helping other young artists producing music. And then when he released, I think just because how he released great bangers before, and it still plays, and I don't know, there's a various type of like a different type of stoicism in J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, and then of course I could say add in Jay-Z too as well. But with artists like Drake or Future, you know, and Weeknd, they're putting in the work and hustling. I don't know how they stay sane to be continuously produce albums or songs almost once a year.
Right. Like, I think that's like, for them to stay sane. That's why we don't really see them popping off a lot on the socials. You know,
like they do pop off, but they don't pop off like I'm pretty sure. Yeah, of course, Search and Rescue didn't pop off like Take Care how it pop off. I'm just using an example.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just yeah, in terms of not rushing it, kind of like Kendrick as the example, right? You just, I don't know, I believe in not sacrificing the quality of the music for a deadline, you know? I think that kind of ruins the aspect of being an artist. You want it to be able to have the proper amount of time to create what you deem as worthy enough to release to the public.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we talked about the great things about thriving, and you hope you really continue to thrive and grow. Really kind of, again,
Likewise.
It's a huge honor. I'm saying this as like to have you on my podcast, because in the next few years, you're probably going to be at a much more different level. But really able to kind of like get this present moment right now with you. So onto the other good part, the vibing. So your thriving it can be a vibe too. You're really vibing. You're making music that people can all vibe to. But again, what is Randy Jones outside of producing music? Even though you are probably going to be around music a lot, but what else do you kind of do and like to do?
Yeah, I mean, other things I like to do aside from music, I mean, I'm also into videography. I'm just speaking on like creative aspects,
yeah.
And then I'm gonna jump into like the real vibes, right? So videography, that's another thing I wanted to point out is, as a creative, you just, in this day and age, you just gotta wear more than one hat.
You do.
I don't just like write and record the music. I mean, it's like I said, videography, right? Like being able to direct and edit videos, I think is a huge aspect in the whole music scene as well, but other than that, yeah, I mean, quality time with quality people, you can never go wrong with that. And I mean, I like to play pickleball. That's like my favorite thing at the moment.
That's actually, I've been hearing pickleball so often, and I thought it was just only an Austin thing, but it's actually booming, like to the point that I am subscribed to like New York Times and Bloomberg, and they say that pickleball is the next big sports to really think of investing in, and I just see it as like, that's like racquetball and tennis ball, or it's like a smaller tennis ball. It's more intense than badminton. Because it's still a ball, but it's not as like it's not as aggressive as an actual tennis ball.
Definitely. Yeah, and I was a tennis player back in high school, so immediately just made the easy transition over to pickleball along with my other tennis mates back in the day. And honestly, yeah, with that experience too, like with tennis, I will say that did contribute in the performing aspect of the music, because
really,
you're competing against, like, sometimes you have these matches where it's your school versus another school. And sometimes you can be like the deciding match on which school wins this tennis match against like school versus school. And there's been those times, man, where I've been in that deciding match, whether singles or doubles, and you have all like the tennis players and all the coaches just watching, and so it adds that sense of pressure, like, oh, you better do your best, and once you start getting a feel for whatever your best is, you start to just feel comfortable with like performing in front of a crowd,
Ooh, okay. But you're not saying any words.
Yeah,
probably
right?
You're grunting when you hit the ball, but yeah,
definitely. You're still in a way putting on a show. That's how I kind of saw it. But yeah, anyways, pickleball vibes. Pickleball vibes for sure.
Pickleball vibe. Do you think the pickleball is already a professional sport? This is not just a hobby. It's not like a hobby like actually any sport can be a real profession. As long as you have an actual audience that will pay money to see you play, that's when it becomes like, okay, it's a real professional sport. But I'm pretty sure you're just doing it just to vibe, to hang out with the homies and whatnot. But what other sports you play though?
I mean, I don't know if it would count as a sport, but I just love throwing a frisbee.
Throwing frisbee? Hey man, the frisbee is actually considered like kind of like a very interesting sport to like disco golf.
Yeah, disco.
That will be a first to be as in a professional sports, and that's not easy. It's a lot more coordination than golf itself.
No, definitely. I don't know. As far as vibes go, yeah, I mean, just pulling up to Zilker Park or Auditorium Shores here in Austin, and just setting up a little place to sit and just throwing a frisbee with your homies. Just brings out that inner child.
Yeah.
Just being active at the same time while just having fun. So stuff like that. I mean, what else for vibes? I've been getting into traveling recently. Just starting to barely starting to.
This is you're not including your tour travel.
Right. Yeah, no, just being in a different environment just for a moment.
Yeah, where'd you recently travel to?
Yeah, I recently went to Alaska with the fam.
Alaska.
Yeah,
bro, that's like
cruise.
Wow, you really went out there. What's it really like out there? Because it's still part of the United States, but it's not really part of the United States.
Yeah, it felt weird, just I'm not used to seeing all these mountains just in the background, and we arrived at a certain time where there was still snow like on the mountains, like this.
You went to like Anchorage specifically, or you went to a different city in Alaska?
Yeah, like certain cities, if I could remember some of their names, it was like Sitka. That was one of the cities. That's really the only city I remember, honestly. But it's like a bunch of small towns, a lot of nature, a lot of greenery.
Is there like a lot of Native American inhabitants there? That's
Yeah,
another thing
definitely.
I've read in the History Channel about like Alaska is like one of those. It's very
indigenous.
They're very indigenous, and definitely the laws is not as strict because it's so far out from the rest of the United States. Like it acts like almost as its own country. I don't know. I could be completely off, but then you already personally see it. Like you saw how the culture is right there, day to day.
Yeah, it's just a very peaceful vibe. I think I'm just now starting to get into my nature bag, and just I mean the people there were nice. The scenery was nice. It just felt good being not in the Texas sun, just first and foremost.
Yeah.
And being able to wear more than one layer, and just feeling different type of weather, different type of scenery. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a family trip too. So got some quality time with the fam. Things like that. Went to London as well.
You went to London.
Recently. That was mad.
It was mad. It was mad. Like, speaking of like music in London, I start to really enjoy some of the hip hop scene in London. In fact, I think J. Cole did collab with one London hip hop artist. But
Oh, you mean the song London?
Not.
No?
Yeah, I think it was London. Yeah.
By Bia featuring Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like.
I'm not sure if she's like a London artist. That might just be like the name of the song, but yeah, they killed that one.
I mean, I was more anticipating. I didn't care about the London artist. I cared more about J. Cole, and he killed it. His bar was just like was so good. Like, why would I have this or that when I can have both?
Yeah, I think just recently I was just following along to the lyrics. Just listening to that song, and I mean his cadence is crazy. That's that's just me analytically thinking again. About like how I listen to music. I'm just like, damn, like how is he saying all of these bars like without taking a breath, or how do they all connect? And just really just analyzing like the structure of these songs, or why it's so pleasing to the ear. Why do I think it sounds hard? And just incorporating that into what I do.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I want to kind of ask this because you have the artist mind,
Right,
and then
right.
you're talking to me like an actual normal person. But do you think there's some artists that, when the way they talk, like you'd be thinking like, wow, you talk as if like, you rap as if like you're talking, or you're talking the way you're rapping, or you just know how to like separate. Because J. Cole has gone to that point. When he talks, he has like a lot of maturity, and he can explain to you anything about the whole philosophy of rapping and hip hop like you're 5 years old. Like he can explain it so well to another artist. Where you're like, yo, I can't tell if you hired a ghostwriter. You can't. You say you rap, but you can't rap.
Or are you a
You're
clone?
freestyle?
You know, are you a clone?
You a clone?
Nah, JK. But I guess kind of like what you said. I know how to separate them. You know, I mean, I don't like to be in hip hop mode all the time. To be
hip hop mode all the time. Yeah,
it's definitely a mode. You know, it's definitely a vibe, very specific vibe. You know, like it has to be show environment. Like,
but if you're like out in Alaska and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go hard and top up parallels there, you're like, bro, we're just trying.
Definitely just meeting the peaceful people of Alaska. I mean, I'm just Randy. I'm just Randy James, like in the flesh. Just I got my prescription glasses on, like still trying to fly in winter wear, but just like at the end of the day, man, I just want to be a kind person, like just in general. I just want to be kind, and just lead with love.
Yeah,
like, at the end of the day.
I like to kind of also make this comment about your name. Like your name is like so. It's very simple, and shout out to your parents choosing it. But then like, do you think your parent there's a deeper meaning to your name, or it's just like Randy? It's just like any Randy. When I think of Randy, I think of Randy Jackson. The OG American Idol judge.
Yep, OG.
Or Randy that you just,
I've gone like Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, New England Patriots Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So if I remember correctly, I think my pop said that Randy comes from this artist named like Randy Santiago from the Philippines. I think, I'm not too sure. And I think James is from the Bible. So
yeah, James.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah, you're the first Filipino I know, and I've met a lot of Filipinos. I'm still trying to meet more Filipinos. They definitely, to know if they're Filipino, this is a freebie, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people know this. If they look like us, but they have a Hispanic last name, just know they're Filipino.
Dead giveaway. Filipino?
Yeah, Filipino.
Get a discount real quick.
Yeah, but do you speak any Tagalog?
Unfortunately, no. I'm always saying I'm in the process of learning, but that's a little white lie. Like,
little white.
I do need to learn this language though before I die, man. I need to learn it so I can pass it on. I'm not trying to be like full blown, like just strictly American. Like I gotta maintain that culture as well. I feel kind of guilty not knowing.
Yeah.
A little bit of Tagalog.
You just have to kind of
like
understand
make the time.
It. Yeah.
Right.
No, that's good that you have. I can understand. There are some
bit.
people that can they're not proud of it, and I feel like that's kind of whack. It's really whack.
Yeah.
Especially, do you know how many Filipino artists that are half and they're still proud of it? Like Saweetie,
yeah.
Her,
Yeah.
Bruno Mars, Vanessa Hudgens. She's not an artist, but she did produce some songs. Not top hit, but she actually acknowledges her Filipino heritage.
Hey, High School Musical, man. All the hits. All the hits. Vanessa Hudgens. We're all in this together.
We are absolutely all in this together.
AAPI hits right there.
Yeah, and then Olivia Rodrigo, they all acknowledge their Filipino background, heritage. Like even if they were not born in the film, but they really. That's one thing. I'm 35% Filipino, but I can't say I'm fully Filipino. But I
thought you were at first, honestly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everyone thought I was. And when you hear my name, it's like that doesn't sound Filipino at all.
Right.
But the Filipino pride is very real.
No, definitely. Yeah, proud to be Filipino, man. I mean, I've been fortunate enough to visit the Philippines a few times in my life.
Manila
for sure.
Boracay or Palawan.
Yeah, right. Oh, have you been?
I haven't been. I just know how to say it.
Nice, yeah, like a few places around the Philippines, yeah, but and just got to see like how my extended family over there lives, and just huge reality check. Huge reality check. Just really makes you thankful for where you are, right? In your place, and just being thankful and grateful for what you have, and really touching the mainland and seeing how people of your culture live is just amazing, honestly. And for those who are proud of it, no judgment, but I mean,
Like go travel. Go check it out.
Maybe check it out. Yeah, like, or if you have any relatives over there, go see what it's like, and maybe, you know.
And they come back with a balikbayan.
Right, something like that.
And for the balikbayan, that is the box that you got that they have to pack up and with all the goods, and you bring it back to the States.
Yep.
That's how it is.
And they pack that box tight, man.
50 pounds? No, less than. They try to make it 51 pounds or whatever. Get it from adobo seasoning to some was it banana sauce, like the jufran?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Oh man, I might be more Filipino than you.
Might be.
Man, like, so like your parents, do you speak any Tagalog or?
Yeah, I speak Tagalog. My dad speaks Ilocano.
Ilocano. Oh, he's from that part of the Philippines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so his family migrated over to Hawaii. And that's where he grew up. So I've been able to go to Hawaii a few times.
That's dope, man.
Seeing my dad's side of the family too. And yeah, the island life is very vibey.
Yeah, it's absolutely
tropical, you know.
Still think it would be in the Philippines, but then again, yeah, Hawaii is much closer and probably more structured in some way compared to a lot of things. Not saying all Philippines are bad, but you know, go to the beachy part. But yeah, so I'm asking about the Filipino culture, but have you ever seen Filipino rap or street rap? I've seen it on Netflix, and I have to say, it goes hard.
I've seen a little bit of it.
Like the hip hop scene is also growing there.
Right. I've seen this one, you know, a friend showed me where I can't remember the name to save my life, but they were.
Hey guys, yeah. So there was like a little bit of like technical difficulties, but we're just gonna kind of go off from the vibing part of where we were talking about Filipino culture. So yeah, Randy, you were talking about the station. I mean the modernized jeepney and how the rap scene is right there.
Right. I mean, it looks pretty wild. I mean, looks like there's definitely a movement going on over there. I think I've seen some like Filipino battle rap videos before.
Like
yeah, like I don't know, they're just going off on each other. You know.
You really like, I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
But that homeboy is really delivering some bars.
It's like Filipino 8 Mile, you know. But yeah, it looks epic. I mean, hopefully one day it could take the talents over to the mainland, you know.
Dude, you could be the pioneers, babe. When they come from the mainland in the Philippines, they come to America and they see you, and then they look at you and say, "Kuya." And for those of you guys don't know what Kuya is, it means older brother.
Yeah, Kuya vibes. Oh, why am I forgetting? There's Pilo. I don't know if you know Pilo.
I think I've heard of Pilo, yeah.
He's out in the Bay Area. Pilo. That's yeah, he's doing it big out there. That's Kuya for sure. But yeah, hopefully I can be another example, you know, of allowing others, you know, the younger ones to truly believe that this is possible. Right? Yeah,
because with one thing about Filipino and the creative aspect, so Filipinos can definitely sing. You know, one of my first Filipino crush back in high school, she very multi-talented and can sing, and she sang like the national anthem. I was like, alright, okay, Filipinos can sing. Then do b-boy dancing. I did a little b-boy dancing. I was like, y'all, they can dance. And then sports, dude, basketball. When I saw Manny Pacquiao play basketball, I was like, whoa. Like Tito
basketball.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's just like from the influence of the American colonization some sort of way, and then they brought that in. Very good and nice caring people. Nurses. There's the stereotype of nurses. And then food. Well, you guys love your pork a lot, like a lot of pork. From pork adobo, from lechon to sinigang to sisig, just everything.
Right.
And then some lumpia too.
No, definitely. I mean, home cooked food is, especially from your culture, is just the best. I'm sure we all have our own experiences with that.
Absolutely. Do you like to cook though?
Yeah, a little bit. I like to dive in, you know, help out in the kitchen, a little bit with the fam. You know, still in the learning phases, if I must say.
Yeah.
But yeah, just it's a bit therapeutic. I find it.
It is. It is. Like being able. I can say this myself. I love to cook. All times I've been able to. I've been able to cook like chicken adobo to
nice.
like Chinese fried rice to the Malaysian pineapple fried rice, and that's just my way of like. I want to be kind of cultured. If I can't really learn the language fast enough, like okay, what's another way to really learn it faster naturally is by the food that I try to cook. So yeah, and then I'll say the hardest food I've ever made was pho, bro. There's a lot of process into it, like the ingredients, doing it from scratch,
like the broth and all that.
The broth it took 7 hours to make.
Wow. Dang.
Well, I'm doing it proper. Some people want to take the shortcut, like trying to get it down by cut it down by 4 hours using a pressure cooker. That works too, but I don't know. I just wanted to really respect the Vietnamese, the Vietnamese gods.
For sure.
Yeah, but yeah. So like with being a proud Filipino and a proud Filipino-American and straight out of Austin, Texas, like it's really great to kind of hear all this because Austin doesn't. I know Austin has a great music scene, but in terms of hip hop scene, I would think like you would have gotten an interesting start maybe in Atlanta or maybe New York, and you just kind of go from there. But Austin, Texas, is a very interesting.
Yeah, it's always it's. I feel like there was a bit of a quiet period, but it's definitely found its reemergence. I think, you know, a lot of the theme I feel, which I mean it should be for most hip hop communities, is we're all just about helping each other. You know, the connections you make, the friends you make. Oh, hey, we're having this show in, you know, Volstead venue. It's also a hip hop open mic. You know, pull up, bring whoever you know that wants to, you know, showcase their own talent and kind of get their start the same way that I did. And it's beautiful to see that, you know, a lot of young creatives, young local creatives coming up, they're kind of taking that torch and really keeping Austin hip hop alive.
Yeah,
for sure. Shout out, you know, P Miller.
You know,
over there. Shout out Weird City Kid. Definitely, he actually that guy grew up with in the scene. You know, we met at one of the hip hop open mics, and you know, fast forward, we found an opportunity to work together, and he's the one who mixed my album Parallels.
Nice.
So yeah, shout out Weird City Kid.
Weird City Kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Like
I'm gonna say this as your first fan. Gonna manifest this out, but I think you know, after your first album, maybe second and third, officially, you know, again, not rushing it. Like somewhere down the line, maybe 5 years down the line, I think I could definitely see you perform in South by Southwest.
Oh snap!
ACL,
definitely.
And then ACL, just literally kind of go from there.
Only if I'm headlining, you feel me?
Headlining? Okay, we want to put a really big headlining. Coachella.
Hey, one day you'll see me in this Sahara tent. I think that's what one of the things is called. But
and your stage name is still Randy James, right?
Randy James, yeah. I mean,
that's really rare. That's still pretty rare to kind of keep that. I don't know. Do you ever plan on like changing it? You know how like changing it into a more interesting name if it works for you, obviously not just for the family, it works for you.
Sure, I think starting out, I went through a few names. I don't know if I'll reveal them, but and it just, you know, still while in the early process of being an artist, right? You know, I don't know, the names just didn't feel right. You know, it just felt like I was trying to be something else or whatnot. So I had to look at the drawing board, like, what artists do I like? Oh, Drake, Russ, like, they're just using their government names, you know? Future. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, you're right, Drake.
It's like
Drake is an actual name.
Jamie Foxx, like, I don't know, it's just something pleasing about just seeing, I don't know, just their government name. But in addition to that, I mean, I really just couldn't come up with anything like creative that I felt could be a part of my identity. Like, hey, just call me Randy James. Like, that's my first and middle name. You know?
Okay. At least it's your middle name. I thought it was your last name.
Oh yeah, it's
What is
a
your last name?
misconception. You know what that is? For my Wikipedia page, go look it up.
Okay, all right. We don't have to kind of say so. We'll let the listeners and the viewers
It's
check it out
public
themselves.
information. You can find it.
You got a Wikipedia page.
No, JK, I don't. Shoot, I don't know. I never looked myself up like that.
We'll have a fan make it for you.
I hope AI doesn't make it.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I have one other part. Do you think AI would disrupt the music industry in a good or bad way? Like,
I think it's already starting to.
yeah, it's already kind of starting to for the big names. But then again, what about for small artists like you guys, like you? Like,
I don't know. I think it's still so new. I think a lot of us are still trying to find our way around it or find, how we can incorporate this in our craft. I'm still, just peeping it through the socials and seeing what are the potential possibilities with AI.
yeah,
But I think it can help a lot. I've been seeing it help a lot with like video editing.
video
for
editing,
sure.
yes,
Like,
absolutely.
especially for editing podcasts, like I just saw this.
Or editing
clip.
a music video, kind of
Editing a
thing.
music video, but I don't know, with that type of thing, I like to be hands-on, call me old-fashioned, but I like
Pen and paper, like
right.
not
just
not
like
like the AI or write lyrics for you.
I like being able to make those decisions on where to cut certain parts of a video or things like that. But that's maybe just one small aspect of the AI as.
But it
as
can make a
whole.
big difference, though.
It can make a huge difference. No, for sure. I hope it does more good than bad. I hope it doesn't turn out like all the bad movies about, or all the movies about AI taking over the world and stuff like that.
Hey, like I think if just like artists, people pay money to see artists perform in the tour. I don't want to pay money to see an AI perform, unless if the AI can definitely be in a human flesh form. And someone lied to me and said, "Hey, Randy James performed." Oh, that's not really Randy James, the human himself.
It's a hologram.
It's a hologram.
No
It's an
way.
AI. It's an actual AI that has exactly what Randy James, the real one, have. I don't know
no
about
way.
that. No, take my money back.
No way.
But that's where the artists really make their most money. Like they have to do tours.
Oh, most
Album
definitely.
release is good, but you gotta do the tour. Because
Yeah,
a
tours,
sold out
gotta do the merch,
menu, merch, and then put people post on social media, then more, and it just it's a ripple effect.
Right. Yeah, that's how it works. I think diving into this specific craft, you don't really do it for the money, right? Like, at least speaking for myself, I kind of just dove into it just for the simple fact that I love doing it. And I think at the end of the day, whatever your passion or craft is, that's always the foundation. Is you love to do it first and foremost. Like,
You love the journey too. You're not thinking.
The
I'm pretty sure
journey.
you have your destination. You have your milestones you want to hit.
Right.
But
right.
you're actually enjoying the journey.
Yeah, enjoying it, and like I do this for free. At the end of the day, I think.
Well,
somebody-
not for long.
Hopefully not for long, But some people like, I think Russ said this in an interview. Someone like Kobe, he loved the game so much. Like
He plays through injuries, brother.
Right. Exactly.
That's different mentality.
That Mamba mentality.
And I like it how Vanessa Bryant actually explained the Mamba mentality in that aspect. Like, I'm playing it for. He doesn't just love the game, but he cares about his fans so much. Like I don't want to sit out because I don't want to disappoint the fans. I save up their money and they're sitting up like top cheapest, and
Like
they paid
nosebleeds.
the nosebleeds. Yeah, the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
I don't want to disappoint them, even if I am injured. I want to still give them a show because they came in to see the team and they want to see me, and that's a level of mentality. Even you have every right to just sit out. Like you have broken tendon. Of course, rest in peace to who wanted to go to Kobe. But that's why you're a GOAT. You're not just great on the field, but you cared about your fans. So
Yeah, most definitely. It's just just thankful that I'm able to do this craft. That I have the ability to, and that I've taken it as far as I have, and hopefully will continue to take it further. Yeah, so at the end of the day, just love doing this for myself, for the homies, and kind of like your compliment earlier, when people come back and they tell me, hey, I relate to this song because of, it sparked this emotion. Above all, that to me is priceless. Like,
Yeah.
It's the best compliment, for sure.
Yep. And I know we're almost headed to the end, but one last piece of advice to our viewers and listeners here. What do they have to think of going to the space where you're at right now in this current modern time? Because AI is there, but again, what's the mentality, what's the choice they have to think in their head, like, to get into music? Because there's people that would be like me. I like music, I want to produce some music, but just know like where they want to kind of get into it.
Right. So, I mean, it comes from a few things, right? First, trying out a lot of new things to really narrow down what it is that you like what is your passion. A lot of people just don't know because they haven't tried enough things yet. But when you work that job you don't like, what is that thing that you're thinking of doing other than work? Hopefully that sparks something in people. But whether it's like painting or music or videography, something like that, then it comes the technical aspect of it. The things that I learned were the 3 C's, which I saw from some like music marketing video, which was content, conversion, and context. But I think it's an actual sequence. It's content, context, and then conversion.
Okay.
So content, the actual product that you put out. The context, which to me is the most important, it's what I was missing in my earlier attempts at releasing music, is the why. Like, why should we care about this? Well, we should care because, this song I just released, like I just turned 27, and I was like comparing myself to a friend and just having that realization that, look, we're all in our own path, we're all in our own journey. So, that's why you should care about it, because you might relate to it.
Yeah.
And the conversion, where will what's the purpose of this content? Like, where will it take you? What are you trying to showcase? Like, is it in leading up to a show? Is it leading up to a project? Like,
and is this something that you use for yourself, or also something that it can be applied to the fans? Because I thought conversion would be like, you converted me to become a fan, and I want to like be part of your journey. Or you'd be like, yeah, cool. It's just a one-time listen. It's good. Nothing more.
Right, like that. Like, what is that goal, right? My goal is for you to listen to this song, but I think for any passion, it could be applied. Especially if you're trying to promote something. Well,
like I'm promoting my podcast.
Right, there you go. Like the why in it, because you want to see how people thrive and vibe. You want to see, what other local creatives or people all around you, what their journey is like. And hopefully everyone, there are people that are listening that will be able to relate, hopefully, to this podcast episode too. And, for everyone that does, like, hopefully they're going to thrive and vibe.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind of words. And of course, for our viewers and listeners here, if you guys want to check out Randy James, what's your social, and then the website, and also like how to get to your Spotify?
Yeah, the socials, you can find me everywhere: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Randy X James. I'm on all social media platforms: Spotify, Apple.
Are you verified?
Music. Verified, yeah.
You're verified, okay.
And, there is a little misconception. It's not that hard to get verified as an artist, but it is pretty cool to say. So yes,
because there's ever since that Elon Musk kind of came in, and then Facebook, Meta, follows like, you can pay $8 a month to be verified, and I'm just thinking,
are you just talking about Instagram verified?
Yeah, there's Instagram verified, and I'm paying for it, but I'm just thinking.
My bad. I meant verified on Spotify.
Yeah, actually, that's more important because
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
a real artist instead of like being verified on Spotify.
Yeah, not verified on IG, and you know, nothing
Probably there's no
against
need to right now.
Yeah, to me, yeah, there isn't. But you know, no knock to anyone that does have that blue
Yeah.
check. More power to them. But you know, I don't have $15 a month. Is what
I think it's
costing.
$8 to $15.
Yeah.
Like,
Who
hey, you
knows?
put the money in your craft, like
Yeah.
for now. But
For sure.
yeah. All right, and then you have a website too.
You know, I'll just refer my link tree. You know,
Linktree?
it's in the
Yeah.
Instagram bio
Mm-hmm.
at the moment. It has all the links to all the music on every platform. The YouTube account. That's really where you can find
Yeah.
all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Most stuff.
No, absolutely.
And on YouTube, you can really see the journey.
Yeah, no, subscribe to the YouTube. That's more important.
For sure.
About it because you get to see the emotion, you can feel it, you can just like just be part of that be part of that parallel. So I don't know how much more to explain it. I felt pretty emotional when I saw the video second time, and what kind of hit me the most was like when you were having your garage party, the listening party.
Yeah.
The fans that going to on stage is cool, but the garage party, that was like wow, true day ones.
Yes. No, most def. So, what you mentioned was this listening party that I had for before my album released, right? And I wanted it to be, you know, just people that I knew, right? Like
Family, friends.
Yeah, right.
It's true
Close
family friends. And I think that's where like you know the sneakers that's about to release, and they're like, oh, this is so special because it's family friends. It's not even released out to the public.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's what makes it really more special. And I'm pretty sure you have like, I don't know, there was a video that showcased like a manila folder with like a signature of everyone. And I'm like, I think that was more special to you rather than if you get any of the future signings.
Right. So what you're referencing to the viewers is like around Life of Pablo. During those sessions, during those Kanye sessions,
yeah,
he would pass around like this notepad, and everyone that was in the
they
studio,
were inspired by that.
Yeah, they would write their, you know, just write something on this notepad, and it kind of became a viral thing. So I wanted to just have something similar to my album, and whoever.
Did you frame that?
You know, I haven't yet.
You should.
It's still in the manila folder. You know, depending on like when I move, I might just, you know, bring it and frame it then.
Yeah, because you want to,
like
you want to. It's like a memorabilia. So,
yeah, definitely. I like to think of it as like my yearbook for that album, kind of thing. You know. You said something else. You said another question.
Listening party.
Yeah, the listening party. So yeah, just a bunch of close friends, really. You know, close friends either from childhood or college that, you know, just in a garage, you know, in a friend's garage, like on some Steve Jobs energy, you know, just showcasing my album with the visuals, just to, you know, show the homies before it drops. And yeah, that was definitely a special moment because it was a parallel moment. I mean, there's a lot of things we spoke on, a lot of creativeness in that room, and you know, I know all of our upbringings, and you know, we all are just again living the dreams that we once had.
And it's just going to keep on getting better till the sky's the limit at this point.
Yeah. Definite. Sky's the Limit by Lil Wayne.
Nice.
Is a great song.
Perfect. All right. Well, that's all it is for Thrive and Vibe.
Awesome.
Randy, thank you very much for your time. Hey, all right.
Much love.
Much love.
Peace out, y'all.
Yeah.